Hey guys, I hope you can hear me all right. Yeah, I will talk a little bit about social media in general today and how you can improve your strategies. And at the end of the slides, I'll talk specifically about Pick.Click.Give on social media. And I've taken screenshots of a lot of different posts in the last few days, and I'll talk about the good and the not so good and what you can do for your organization. So I hope everybody can hear me all right, and I'll just see if this works here. Okay. Okay, yeah, first I have to show my little son, Maxim, is 2 months old, and as video dads, our motto is video dads where the customer always comes second. So here's Max. Isn't he cute? All right, who we are. Some of you guys have met us, but Travis Gilmore on the left and me on the right. And we make short videos for the web, specifically a lot for nonprofits that are inspirational and tell organizational stories. Before that, we did Indie Alaska for Alaska Public Media, where we did 65 documentaries in 65 weeks around Alaska. And before that, we were the membership people at Alaska Public Media. So we were in charge of all the membership stuff that you can think of, appeal letters in the mail, on-air pledge, marketing, and a lot of the social media and web stuff. We redesigned the website. We launched Facebook. We did all that kind of stuff. And so we learned a lot of good lessons in marketing one of the larger organizations and nonprofits in the state. So you hear it pretty much, and I hear it all the time still. There's a lot of presenters that still talk about how you should be on social media, and I think that at this point we all are aware that we should be on social media, but we're not sure what we should do on social media. What do we share? What does the content look like? How often? So just being on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, it's not enough just to be on there. You have to kind of be careful and strategic about what you post on there in order to be successful. So if you only take away one thing from this organization before you take off, the key to social media is you need to give back, you need to share, interact with the online community, have fun, promote others. You really have to do everything apart from promoting yourself. And it seems backwards. It seems like the web is a really easy and cheap promotional tool, but that's not what social media has become. People can see that from a mile away if you're just promoting yourself. And more than just giving and sharing, you should give equal or more than what you expect to receive from your audiences. So if you're asking for some support, if you're asking for 5 minutes of somebody's time, if you're asking for people to share something, then the amount of time that you put into that post and into that community should be equal or greater. So I looked at some for-profit companies and their social media strategies, and pretty much all the good ones do not ever sell or promote any of their products or services on social media. And Reddit, which is a really, really great platform for sharing links, actually bans users who promote themselves. And I've actually been banned a few times just posting Indie Alaska videos on the Alaska Reddit. And the whole point of Reddit is that it's a community that is of and on or of and about, so it's really become like the hub for social media outside of Facebook, where people share other people's links. And so if I wanted to share a video that I made, it would behoove me to share 10 other videos that other people have made before I share my own. And that's kind of like the basic theory of social media these days. You want to share other people's stuff and you want to build a community rather than just post your own stuff. So here's some screenshots I took of some big businesses on social media. on the left and Chevrolet here, there's hashtags where they're asking people to share what they're thankful for. They're asking people to share what they drive for, their experiences, and the hashtag collects all of those comments over the internet, whether it's Facebook or Twitter. The hashtag is just kind of a shortcut so that Dove and Chevrolet can see everybody's comments, and people can comment on their own Facebook or Twitter, and their friends and family will know why they're talking about why they feel beautiful or why they love their cars. And then Pepsi, one of the biggest social media companies out there, posts a lot of cute cat pictures and dog pictures, and that's what they do. They don't have specials on Pepsi, and they don't have appeals for people to share their Pepsi products with their friends. They're asking people to just interact with them and have fun with them on social media. Here's a few more. Home Depot does a really good job of sharing tips and DIY, do-it-yourself how-tos. Home Depot is pretty much built for that. I mean, that's what they do in stores. They have classes, and online, instead of sharing sales of stuff at Home Depot, they share a lot of tips, and a lot of them don't even have anything to do with Home Depot. They link to other websites. Lawyers.com, I just found a random, pretty popular Facebook page. They like to have fun with, even though obviously attorneys are very serious, they like to have fun with their social media. Fred Meyer stores, they're telling stories about their staff and how fun they are, and instead of promoting their weekly sale, they are sharing other people's stories and photos. Okay, so those big companies usually have like a team of staff that are online all day. They're making these fun graphics. They're sharing the pics. They're building a fan base. For smaller nonprofits, you probably have somebody in development who does all that in addition to raising the important funds for the organization. But the point is you have to spend the time to do that. You have to give, you have to share and interact and promote others before you promote yourself. And then once in a while, you can ask your web audience for something back. There's a really good sense of reciprocity on the web. If people feel like you've given them something, they will want to give back. And kind of the motto for social media is a boxing motto that I've seen a bunch of places, where you want to left jab, you want to give people something a little bit, and then once in a while you right hook. So on the other hand, what do nonprofits do in social media? And I just randomly went to American Red Cross on Facebook, and I have to say American Red Cross actually does a pretty good job of sharing tips, but they still have a lot of asks. It's a lot of promotional posts about themselves. So you'll see here on the left, there's, like, I think on December 31st, which is one of the biggest days for donating to the Red Cross, they had something like 5 or 6 asks. And on the right here, there's a few different links to tips. There's photos, which is good because it increases the real estate of the posts. But for the most part, they're still, I think they should probably do a better job of posting to other websites, not just at Red Cross, and other places where there are tips. So for-profit businesses, sorry, there's a lot of text here. They depend on their products and services. That's what they live and die by. But they use their social media time for telling other people's stories. They ask for customer stories with the hashtags, and they want to share fun photos. They like to be lighthearted. Essentially, they have realized that the web is different than the brick and mortar stores. So they give web audiences what they want rather than push for customer sales. Whereas nonprofits tend to depend, we depend on people and very personal missions and stories and services, but we use our social media to continually ask for donations and ask for volunteers and ask for votes to get something, and we ask for people's time a lot. We're usually serious rather than lighthearted, and most often link back to our own website. And if you think about it, for-profit businesses would kill for our stories and our missions. They would have so much fodder. They could share so many stories, but they don't have as much as we do. And yet squandering it by asking all the time rather than giving back. So a case study when I was at the Alaska Public Media, on air, Alaska or PBS in general gives a lot of, and NPR gives a lot throughout the year. They give programming, and then occasionally they ask during pledge drives, during events, during a few appeal letters, 2 or 3 throughout the year. Specifically here in Anchorage, KSKA helps out Pick.Click.Give by airing spots about how you can give to Alaskan organizations during Pick.Click.Give pretty regularly for the first few months of the year. And then occasionally also consider, and when you do give to Pick.Click.Give, consider KSKA. And that's a good example of the left jab, right hook. And it's one of the reasons that Alaska Public Media is usually in the top 3 for Pick.Click.Give organizations. Because they're not constantly asking audiences to give to KSKA specifically for Pick.Click.Give. They're sharing the opportunity and information first. And so on TV and radio, public broadcasting does a good job with a ratio of giving to asking. On the web, however, especially when public broadcasting just started with social media, it was a lot of, call this number to donate. Now's the time, now more than ever. Don't forget to give to us, whether it's Pick.Click.Give or other campaigns. Watch this program tonight. That's an ask. Share this message with other people. Buy tickets for our events. There's a lot of asks, and not a lot of giving to the social media world. So when we were at Alaska Public Media, we joined Facebook in 2011, which is actually really late. Some of you probably were on Facebook a lot earlier than that. And so we started to post a lot of related things to the pledge drives, or kind of, but not specifically asks or reminders or stats about where we are in the pledge drive. So one of the things that we did was we had this thing where, like, for every 100 members that we got, we would add something to this forest scene, suggestions from people, and it really allowed people to interact with us in a way that was tangential to the drive, not really about the drive, but they were still, we were still talking about the drive and reminding folks that that's happening online. So at the end of the drive, we had this big, this is halfway through, we had this big scene full of suggestions from people that we just photoshopped into this scene. It was kind of ridiculous, but it was fun. We had this thing where we photoshopped Neil Conan's hair and beard and mustache on people who hosted the pledge mornings and afternoons, and that was pretty ridiculous too, but it was fun. And now Ann Alquist, who is doing a really great job of being the membership manager at the station, she does a really good job of having fun and being of the internet with our fans on social media. So she makes memes, and memes are pretty popular on the internet. You just take a photo and you add some text to it and you post that. So just kind of an example of if I were an organization and I needed to have a social media strategy for the week, it's actually easier to know what you're doing every day ahead of time rather than when you have a minute or two try to figure out what to post. It's better to plan ahead and collect your photos and post in a regular schedule rather than just kind of when you have a chance to do that. And so here's just an example. On Monday, I'd probably just want to get the week started with something fun. People come back from the weekend and their Facebook feeds are just filled, and they don't have a lot of time to spend on important stuff or things that take time. So just fun stuff is a great way to get started with Monday. On Tuesday, I might share some photos, organizations, mission, services, maybe from the history, or just photos in general of great volunteers, staff, things like that. Again, not a lot of time requested of the audience. On Wednesday, we might have a story about somebody related to the organization. It might link to your site. You might just have like a quote in the post and links to the story in the website, or you might just have a brief paragraph with a photo. but something a little bit more than a photo. And I know that some organizations like to ask, please share your story or share your photos, and those are great, but they fall flat a lot of times because they're asks, and they're asks of time, and they're asks of technical know-how. You have to know how to upload a photo to somebody's Facebook page. You have to know what format and how long to write the story. So it is an ask. It's fine if you have built up an audience and you've given to them. Maybe you share Wednesday stories for a month or two, and then you ask people to give back. But I wouldn't start with that. And Thursday, you probably have seen hashtag TBT, Throwback Thursday. You can share anything from your organization's early years, maybe something, an old photo from Alaska, old high school photos from some of your leadership, something that's funny. Or you could have some more kind of links to other articles online related to your organization's mission, things that you think that your audience would find interesting, a little bit more meaty than photos or memes. And then Friday, this is your right hook. Friday, you're going to ask, after you're given throughout the week, you can ask people to take a minute to watch your video, take a minute to watch somebody else's video, share this with your friends. Please remember that Pick.Click.Give is going on, and maybe remind your family back home that they can give online, things like that. Friday is a good time because people have usually checked out of work by like 2 or 3 p.m. and they're browsing Facebook for the last few hours of work. And that's actually a really popular time for videos to be posted because that's when you have time to watch stuff. And the most important Facebook tip ever, there's really not enough boosted posts out there. Facebook has changed their algorithm a little bit, so even if you have 100 or 1,000 or 100,000 fans, only a small percentage of your fans will actually see any of your posts. Unless the post happens to be viral on its own, or viral, it means that it's catching on and a lot of people are sharing it, then maybe it might organically reach more of your fans' timelines, but for the most part, less than 10% of your fans will actually see anything you post, unless you pay Facebook for that opportunity. The good news is you don't have to have a lot of fans. You don't have to have 10,000 fans to reach a lot of people. Even if you have 100, if you boost a post and target people in Alaska, you can reach a lot of people with any post. And you don't have to spend a lot of money, too. It's actually really cheap. For Indy, Alaska, we used to do $75 an episode, and that got us a few thousand views overall as they were shared. It just gets the post rolling. If you have a bigger campaign, if you think about how much $5,000 can go for a Facebook video campaign versus a TV ad that might air a few times, at 2 in the morning, it ends up being a really affordable way for small and large campaigns. But you do have to boost the important stuff. So if you have an important ask, end of the year, or a Pick.Click.Give once in a while, you should boost your post. Some other tips, sorry for all the text here, you should post a photo as much as possible with your text, even if it's only slightly related. It provides a lot more real estate in people's timelines. If you're somebody like me who scrolls through Facebook reluctantly throughout the day for hours, you skip pretty much anything that doesn't have a photo attached to it. If you have videos, you should upload them directly to Facebook rather than link from YouTube, because Facebook now plays those videos automatically in the timeline. Now, if you have something that is already on YouTube, that's fine. But if you just made a video, even if it's a 30-second, minute, or 2-minute thank you video for your donors, put it directly on Facebook rather than YouTube. It's also nice because Facebook videos don't have this big looming view count in the corner, so nobody has to know how many people have watched or have not watched your video, which tends to color whether or not people think that that video is legitimate or not. So uploading to Facebook is a good idea. Other Facebook tips, you can target Alaskans specifically when you boost your posts or when you post an ad to get likes, and so that actually makes it a lot cheaper. and you can specifically target Alaskans that are of a certain age, of a certain education or background, male or female, with kids or without kids. It's pretty nice that you can target that. And you can target Alaskans that have liked other pages specifically. So, for example, at Alaska Public Media, we would target anybody who has liked PBS or NPR and get specifically people who like public broadcasting. And again, remember, only a small percentage of your fans will ever see your posts, even if they're boosted and they appear on the timelines of your fans. Like, that doesn't mean that they're going to stop and read or watch or see any of the photos that you post. They might still scroll by it here in just a fraction of a second. So if your post requires work of any kind, it will probably be skipped, unless the fans feel like giving back to you, unless they feel like reciprocating all of the social media goodies that you've given to them. Notice I've talked mostly about Facebook, which is probably the platform that most of you will be on. Twitter, I have a big sigh for Twitter because it's easy to be on Twitter, and most of us are on Twitter, and we've just linked it to our Facebook account so that it just automatically posts whatever we posted on Facebook. But nobody really sees that. In order to really be successful and of Twitter, you actually have to be like 10 or more times as active in curating and promoting other individuals and businesses and organizations' other posts on the web. You have to be like a Twitter addict in order to be visible by other Twitter fans. So self-promotion and asks will probably only be read and shared for the most engaged users, and most of those people are individuals. I don't know of many organizations that are really, really engaged, and maybe there's an individual at the organization, but for the most part, it's people-based rather than organization-based. And the really, really active Twitter users who love to talk about how awesome Twitter is, they do feel a lot more kinship with the other Twitter users, but part of that is because of their like they're just really, really active engagement on Twitter and less so on Facebook. So they love Twitter, not because it's better or anything, but because they're spending a lot of time on it and they're getting something out of it because of that. Instagram is really easy and great if you or your volunteers or staff go out and have photo opportunities that's outside the office. You can have multiple people logged into the same Instagram account, and it's really super easy and fast. The photos and the filters make everything look kind of cool, and there's a built-in community on Instagram that happens to be connected to Facebook. The problem is that it's 100% mobile. Nobody's going to Instagram on their desktop computers, and so if you think about the amount of time that people spend on their mobile phones, it's usually a few seconds or maybe up to a minute at a time. So there's really no opportunities to ask for people's time, and there are absolutely no links to websites. There's no such things as like go to this place to donate. It's just a photo sharing platform. However, Instagram has made it really easy to share whatever you posted on Instagram directly on Facebook, and that connects with your Facebook audiences. So I like Instagram because it makes everything look great, and it doesn't hurt to be on that community, and you automatically get to tap into your Facebook community anytime that you post anything on Instagram. So yeah, if you're on Facebook, you might as well be on Instagram. Okay, so it's 10:27. Let me talk a little bit about some Pick.Click.Give posts and the good and the bad. Again, as a reminder, when you're using the toolkit, there are a lot of great logos and photos, but like your organization should spend more time sharing and being creative about the way that you share rather than just asking all the time. So there's some really cool videos. This is from Twitter. I just took some screenshots yesterday. Pick.Click.Give has specifically made some videos there on the left and in the middle that are really good. And they're about people, and they're about the stories about people who have been affected by Pick.Click.Give, and that's really, really great. Food Bank also has a really great video about people that have been affected by Pick.Click.Give. One thing that I would say is if I posted these on Facebook, I'd probably just post it directly to Facebook rather than YouTube so that they would start playing automatically. And if people hear music, if they hear somebody talking, they're a lot more likely to watch the rest of the video. Here's some more Twitter. I clicked on some links. The left link is a good example of lighthearted posts that are related to Pick.Click.Give. And this Pride Foundation article is just super good. It's exactly what we're talking about. It's stories about people who support the organization and why Pick.Click.Give can help. The only thing is that the Twitter post about it is so dense and doesn't really talk about, or doesn't really go directly to the important part, which is the story. So if I were Pride Foundation, I'd probably post another tweet or Facebook post later on that just quotes from the story, a brief, really powerful quote from Tom, and then link to it. Sometimes it's better to not give it all away with your post. Sometimes it's better to tease and convince people or persuade people to see what it is that you're talking about by clicking on the link, rather than say specifically what it is. So these are good. Okay, so I went to Facebook. Here's Heather. She changed her profile pic, and look how big this picture is, real estate on Facebook. I mean, it's huge. Anytime you change your profile pic or your cover photo, it shows up in people's timeline, actually. It's not just something that they see when they go to your profile. So that's great. Challenger Learning Center here is a really, really great picture that has the logo, Pick.Click.Give. It has the Love Alaska campaign. It has people. It has kids. Really good. And it's not asking for much at this point. Thread did a really good job of sharing another organization on their Facebook. They linked to AYDC that they're partners with. So this is really cool. This is good karma. They're talking about other kids and other organizations that that their audience might not know about. Here's another Pick.Click.Give video. There's a lot of these I think that you can share in Kenai Peninsula Orchestra. They had a little teaser here. They're not really saying what exactly it is. They're saying warm your heart. And then on the right here is Catholic Social Services, and this I think is an example that I would probably modify a little bit. There's a really good photo of kids and eyes and faces, and there's a logo in the center. That's cool, but there's so many asks here. Please support Catholic Social Services and its 8 programs with the Pick.Click.Give donation. Thanks. And also please share. And also please go to this website, cssalaska.org. And also here are these hashtags that you should be using when you post anything related to this. That's like 3 or 4 or 5 asks in one post. Here's another one down here. First listen to this audio message, go to this website, and then support the 8 programs when you file for your PFD. And there's still no link to the actual Pick.Click.Give or PFD website. That's a lot of asks without a lot of giving back. So that's just an example of, I think I would maybe modify that slightly. Let's go to the next slide here. Some more. DJ Spencer Lee posted this really great reminder about Pick.Click.Give and why it's important for him. If I was United Way, I would reshare that, either take a screenshot or specifically go to Spencer's Facebook and share it on their page, because that's gold. That's personal. Below that, there's a post that is like about a novel length, and like you guys, my eyes just skim over that because there's a lot of words there. It's cool that they have these, the profile pic and the cover photo is beautiful, but there's a lot of words there, and so I'd probably shorten that. Again, Catholic Social Services, and this time they did a really good job of just posting some good photos of their people and their services. They added the hashtag Pick.Click.Give. They added the website without specifically asking people to go there. It's just a thank you message. I like that. Pick.Click.Give, sharing other websites or videos that are related, kind of related to Pick.Click.Give. I mean, this is a video about the zoo, yet the zoo is a Pick.Click.Give organization, and so this is a really great way to post something regularly without necessarily being an ask about Pick.Click.Give. It's just a reminder. And the zoo, boy, do they do a good job. They post these massive, beautiful photos that get hundreds of likes. There are a little bit, there's a little bit amount of text, but that's okay because they only did this once or twice in December and in January. So if you didn't have this photo here, we probably just skipped this completely. So again, the photo is really good. And here's Pick.Click.Give sharing another video about Homer Art Center, which is really cool, except that I'm not going to necessarily click on it because I don't know how much time I have on my phone or at home, and so I'm probably going to skip it. If it was uploaded directly to Facebook, and I know that it might be difficult if Pick.Click.Give doesn't own this video, but if Bunnell Street Art Center uploaded it directly to Facebook, then a ton more people would watch it. And here's just a few more good ones. Pick.Click.Give posted this thing that asks about 3 seconds of your time, which organizations will you support this year? And got a lot of really great responses. And actually, I've seen that on Instagram too. You know, it's very easy to ask for things like photos and stories, but those take a lot of people's time. Whereas, you know, just asking about, you know, what's your favorite this or that, or what organization, what's your favorite time of year, what's your favorite thing about, you know, like giving back to Alaskan organizations. Super quick and easy, and people love to feel like they're participating without spending a lot of time. Beans Cafe, #1, like year after year in Pick.Click.Give donations. I mean, they go all out. They have the cover photo, they have the profile pic. Again, anytime they change this, that will show up in people's timelines. And they post these related photos. I mean, like, it's kind of related, but boy, look at this real estate here. This shows up in my feed, and I can't help but not see it. And then here's some really great photos about their services. This is their left jab. They posted a few of these, like 5 or 6 of them, before they posted an ask for Pick.Click.Give. 10:36. So that was the end of my slides here, and this is what we all look like when we're on the internet. So I wanted to open it up and see if you guys have any questions or comments about social media and how you can be a little bit more strategic with Pick.Click.Give. Do we have that ability, Heather? Do we? I guess people can just chat. All right, no questions yet. Just some other things I've noticed is it's not really social media, but the Pick.Click.Give Toolkit offers some additional email signature options, which are actually really great. Think about how many emails you send out every day, and if there's a reminder in your signature about Pick.Click.Give, it's a really easy win. What would be the least amount of days a week a small organization should update Facebook? If you can, daily, and it only takes a photo to make sure you upload something every day, but I would say no less than 3 times a week if you do that. And yeah, I mean, like, our Video Dads business doesn't have a lot of Facebook followers or fans because we don't post that often, and so there's really no momentum for that. So if you post once a week, you might reach your small fan base, but it's not really going to grow unless you start paying for it. Posting regularly, on the other hand, you know, that makes sure that maybe 10% of your fans see every post, but at the end of the week, different 10% of those fans will see them, so maybe 70% of your fans will see at least one post. And again, it's not hard. You don't have to have really brilliant posts. You don't have to have something that is meaty. Just anything, you know, a link to a cool article that you guys found, or you know, sharing some other organization's posts with a little comment, a photo of the beautiful hoarfrost outside. Just anything that will continue to keep your Facebook page active is good. Do we need to invite individuals to like each one of these posts? No, I think that's an asking people to like something. And by the way, liking something doesn't really get you much anyway. A share, on the other hand, sharing does count for more in the Facebook algorithm, so then it starts to show a little bit more often in other people's feeds, but liking something doesn't really do much. Here's another tip. If you guys have a campaign where you ask people to post something, a photo, you can post a photo on Facebook and tag another person or tag another organization, or if you start typing in an organization that you like, it'll complete it and link back to them. But those are all very, it seems backwards. I would just ask people to email a photo. Everybody knows how to email photos. So if you're going to have a campaign where you ask people to share photos, it's still kind of complicated on Facebook. So I would just ask people to those. Okay, Heather says she heard organizations should focus their communication on a few topics so it doesn't dilute the message. Do you have any thoughts on that? Well, I mean, there's only so much. Let's say that you are Beans Cafe. There's only so many things that you can find on the internet that is related to, homelessness and shelters, and that's fine. But I think it would be better if Beans Cafe, for example, I'm just using them because they're up here, would have links and conversations about other things in general. Maybe things like funding nonprofits and how like things might change year after year with Pick.Click.Give, or things might change for organizations in general. What is the new governor for Alaska have in store for nonprofits? Like if there's a natural disaster somewhere, open up that conversation about how people can become homeless at any time, at any minute, any second. So it doesn't always have to be specifically right around the one topic. It's just content that some people will see and some people won't. But it's like you might have a conversation with a friend. They know that you are really supportive of a certain issue, but it's not like that's the only thing that you talk about. Like if somebody, for example, if somebody had a dental clinic, it'd get pretty old if everything they posted just was always about how important it is to clean your teeth. And there are meme creators, meme generators, these photos that are, they have fun text on them. So you don't have to be, you don't have to create them from scratch. You go to a meme generator, and there's a number of popular memes that have photos of, like Captain Picard, Patrick Stewart, or something like that. And you can add the text, and it'll create the photo for you, and then you can share it. So you don't have to have Photoshop skills to post fun, lighthearted memes either. Anything else, guys? Well, that was a quick 43 minutes. That went by really fast. I hope you guys learned some things, maybe just a few tips. But the point is that we should be having fun with social media. There's a lot of ways to have fun with it and also get something back from it, which is a community that you can ask for support from. You can ask for help, but it's not a community that you can ask for time and support from all the time. So giving them something throughout the week, throughout the year, keep them active, engaged, it will be very fruitful in the end when you do ask for something, because people will want to give back and share.